Welcome back to historic Haupt Field. Woodbury on top of Clayton 6-0 as we start the second half. Rob Chris along with Fred Swartz. Atlantic City Electric game of the week. Do you recall? Clayton deferred in the first half, so they will get the ball to start things here in the second half. Ball taken at about the 15-yard line and tripped up at the 29 is Gibson. First down and 10 for the Clippers. Clayton will look to regroup after a rough first half.
And that's probably the best words that could be said at this. But if you look at the graphics right up in the front, you can see the amount of plays run pretty even. But look at the passing yards, 5 for Woodbury, 45 for Clayton. Rush yards, both of them about the same at 47 and 44. The big difference that's not up there was the number of mistakes that were made by the Clippers in the first half, including numerous penalties.
You know, Clayton, this is not something that you would want from a team that is senior-laden. Donovan Allen, Corey Carr, Demir Washington, Skylar McDonald, Devin Carr, Kalo Brooks. All of these guys are seniors. Those are your key performers, and yet time and time again, this guy has gotten a lot of face time.
Yeah, you got it as a penalty right to start the second half. You know, Clayton had homecoming, and some of the players were out. And
I know you love when the players are out.
Oh, I used to hate that. I used to say, send your mother out to stand for you because we need to talk to you in the locker room. So sometimes that's an issue, but Clayton has to be ready to play in this half.
So again, Clayton will start first down and 15. Washington hands off, and Woodbury starts the second half as they did in the first.
And it's just a straight dive play to see if there's any adjustments that have been made by either team at halftime, but something good has to happen soon for Clayton. Let's hope for their sake it does.
Second down and 15, no gain on the play. Now, keep in mind, all it takes is one play, and right. Clayton is winning this football game.
And that's probably the best statement I've heard in a long, long time, because you're right. One little dip by the running back, and he runs 65 yards for a touchdown.
That sounds like an indictment of me, Fred.
No, it certainly isn't.
Washington.
It's an indictment of me.
They lose one man, still on his feet, Washington, and he is out of bounds. So Washington would have been better served just to throw that away, and instead he takes a big, big loss.
I think what you said before is interesting because Clayton is predominantly senior-oriented, and they're mistakes that you usually think of a underclassmen team. And again, Clayton's been in big games.
Third down and 20 now for the Clippers. Clock stops with 11:04 left. We have seen the strong right arm of Demir Washington, and he's going to need a big play here to start successfully on the opening drive of the second half. Trips right. Washington throws, overthrows his man, it's picked off. Woodbury comes away with the interception once again, the third interception of the night, and they return it to about the 35-yard line.
And turnovers are such a big part of the game, and this time is the last time you want to see it. Watch Washington, he has time, looks downfield at the one receiver, lofts a little bit under air, and it's just too high, and then right into the hands of the, as we used to say in the old days, he led the Woodbury defender perfectly.
First down and 10 for the Herd, so that's a big boost on this opening drive. They've been successful pounding Solomon and mixing it up with a little bit of Parker. Trips right for that young man, the freshman Andre Parker, working out of the pistol. Parker, low snap, hands. Now he keeps. Parker into the secondary. Had me fooled, and obviously the same can be said of the Clayton defense.
Yeah, that was a nice read, though, on that zone read there by Parker. Saw the opportunity, got up into the hole quick, squared his shoulders, and first down for the Thundering Herd.
First and 10, Woodbury. Deep inside of Clayton territory at the 25-yard line. Parker looks to get rid of the ball. He's on his feet. Good block here. Parker into the end zone. Touchdown!
Pushed off on him. That should have been
Boy, just a great job by Parker of buying time. He received a great cutback block when it came through, and the receiver tripped, it was wide open in the end zone.
Well, I tell you, it was Gardner on the reception, and Gardner comes away with the 25-yard touchdown pass, and he may have gotten away with a little bit of a push. It looked like he separated from the defender kind of with a forearm, and maybe we'll get a look when we see the replay. So Woodbury unsuccessfully attempted a point after the first time around, and now they will call timeout and try to regroup. We'll see if they go for two. They're going to talk it over.
And that would be an interesting situation if that was the case, but I think the play was set up tremendously by Parker when he was able to buy time and kept his vision. Watch this again. Sets up, there's a little flare to the left, which he fakes, moves to the outside.
Watch his block right there.
Great block. Little flick throw. It looks like a good 6 to me.
Yep. So 12-0, Woodbury doubles their lead. You see Al Malin. And again, he said, you know, I kind of expected this team to be a little bit better than what we've shown thus far. And you get a sense he has confidence in his team. He's just waiting for it to all come together. Tonight we've seen them play solid defense. And Andre Parker, the freshman, has done a nice job offensively.
You win championships on your defense.
Parker will now go for two. Snap, Parker. Free wheels, and this will all be for naught. So 12-0, Woodbury.
And believe it, that is a very, very good play to run at the goal line. You run the option because everybody has man-to-man coverage in that time, but that play was done as soon as it started. Well, Rob, at this point now, we're looking at Clayton's got to do something now. I think this drive, they have to get positive stuff. They've got to get at least something as far as points to get back in the game.
So, Fred, you know, we watch Clayton, and they've really struggled on the ground. They've tried to pound it up the middle and soften that up. It really hasn't worked. They've had the one big play on the end around, and some of their bigger plays were through the air, but they've had 3 interceptions. So as a coach, you know, you zig, you zag, and nothing seems to work. What do you do here?
And what I think, when we go back to maybe some misdirection plays, because Woodbury is just holding steady right up in the front of the line, and their linebackers are taking off. That's why that end around play. Or sometimes this becomes a time for a gadget play. Flea flicker, a halfback pass, whatever you would do, something that you can catch the other team off guard and make some yardage.
Devin Carr and Michael Gibson are back to return the kick. And Woodbury getting a little talking to here, making sure that everybody is all set. The kicking game of Woodbury hasn't been their strength, but their kickoffs have been effective in that they've been of the squib nature.
And that's done primarily to prevent the long run back, and I think they do fear the speed.
Again, another squib kick, a high bouncer taken at about the 30-yard line and pitched back, cut down about the 38, so officially about a return of 8 yards for Michael Gibson and the Clippers. They will start 1st and 10 with 10:25 remaining in the third quarter.
Let's see if we can be right in this one. I think Clayton has to do something this drive, even maybe something spectacular this drive, something that just gives some enthusiasm. Right now it's just like nothing, like you said, nothing is working, nothing is being positive. And when you do get something positive, you get a penalty.
Well, again, speaking of penalties, there's another one against Clayton. And that's going to be of the 15-yard variety.
So that'll be a block below the waist on the return. So I don't know. Sometimes it gets worse before it gets better. So let's hope that's the end of it for Clayton.
That happened on the return. So 1st down and 10 at the 29-yard line. Clayton will start with possession here in the third quarter, and a penalty now.
And that's going to be a neutral zone. Yeah, that's a neutral zone violation. in high school football, as soon as you go into the neutral zone, it is a penalty. It's not like the pros where you can get back on sides if you don't make contact. As soon as you go in, flag goes down, 5-yard penalty.
Michael Masato Moten, the guilty party. First down and 5 for the Clippers. Full house backfield, Washington directing traffic. Handoff, and again, another penalty. Wow.
Slow developing sweep, and this can only be something that's not good again for Clayton, but I think it's going to be a loss on the play. We'll see what happens.
Well, this is when I used to tell my old partner, Sean Leary, we've had more flags than his report card.
How about that? That may have been mine, too.
Is that right? So procedure, so the referees giveth and they taketh away.
Absolutely.
They're going to decline the penalty. Second down and 7 is a loss of 2 yards. Again, Washington, full house backfield. The handoff, slow developing play, goes backwards.
And you hit it right on the money. Very, very slow developing, and they're just not getting any push off the front of the line. Here's another one. We'll call this today. We're going back in time. It's now June the 14th. Flag Day.
Okay, got it. I wasn't sure. I didn't know that was Flag Day. I knew there was Flag Day. I didn't know that it was June the 14th.
June the 14th.
I was going through the mental Rolodex.
Arbor
Day.
That's it. Bastille Day.
Pumpkin Cheesecake Day. 9:20 and counting. Third down and 9. Again, full house backfield for Washington. They'll hand it off to Carr. Carr angles. Carr with that speed and that burst. Carr driving forward. They give him a little more than maybe he earned. It'll be very close to the first down.
And a good positive play for Clayton. That hopefully will get them rolling. They're going to take a look at it, but I think it is going to be a first down, and it will be.
I'll tell you what, this is, look at this spot here. It's a very generous spot. You can see he rolled another yard there, and Clayton comes away with the first down. 9 minutes left, 12-0 Woodbury, and again, they come out with a bit of a different look here in this second half, trying to change things up, as you said. Full house backfield for Washington, who works out of the shotgun. Again, a quick handoff here, angling towards the sideline. Slow developing, cuts across the grain, spins, still on his feet. Nice individual effort, pickup of about 6 or 7 for the big man, and Donovan Allen.
Yeah, Donovan Allen's showing what Coach Tucker said he liked about him so much. He runs hard, he's tough, and that was almost like a jet sweep to your fullback, but he cut it up and just got those north and south yards.
So Clayton, more positive yardage here. Second down and 3. A long methodical drive would be just what the doctor ordered here for Clayton to keep that defense off the field. Again, it's Carr. Carr cuts it inside. Carr explosive. And this time, Carr with more than enough for the first down, just so fast.
We can see now the Clayton offense has decided to move that ball outside as fast as they can, try to get their backs out to the corner and get yardage. And this is the best offensive drive we've seen so far by the Clippers.
Just talking to some of the people up here in the press box, they mentioned that the last victory against Gloucester Catholic, they started very, very slowly and then picked it up. And we're starting to see some late life out of this Clayton offense. 7:45 and counting left in this third quarter. Handoff, and this is going in the wrong direction, but breaking a tackle at midfield, and a lot of work to get close to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Clayton almost telegraphing what they were going to run on that play. The linebackers for Woodbury just burst through the gaps and made a great attempt on that, but Clayton's running back does a nice job getting back to the line of scrimmage.
We're going to call it no gain. Second down and 10 for the Clippers. Just about the 47, 48-yard line of Woodbury. Here you get a good look at Namir Washington. Flanked by a couple running backs. High snap, handoff, little end around. Again, into the secondary, angling towards the end zone. No one is going to catch. Corey Carr, touchdown.
Boy, what explosion at the corner, and once he received that area, he was gone.
47-yard touchdown run by Corey Carr here on homecoming.
And he's even getting a little applause there from the official at the time. And that was a great run. Once he saw the opening in the hole, the Jets got turned on and off he went. We got a ball game again.
Well, kind of the first thing that has really amped up this crowd. Carr with the 47-yard touchdown run, and big extra point here for Clayton.
Clayton with a lot of confusion on this extra point. We'll see if they have to take a timeout.
So they're going to line up to go for two. The pitch from Washington. And it's good. 2-point conversion and a penalty here. We'll see if this is coming back or if it's after the play. This may go against Woodbury.
Yeah, it may be an unsportsmanlike call at the end of the run. Let's see what it is. But great job. It took a long time to get that play off. But great job to the outside. Watch again. This is the run by Carr. Just look at the acceleration as he's going down the field. He's just not going to be caught. That's what speed does for you. Here's the extra point. Boy, nobody outside. I think that's going to end up being a personal foul against Woodbury.
So they will mark that off on the kickoff, and that will allow Clayton to try to pin Woodbury in deep. One thing we haven't mentioned, Fred, is Woodbury has really enjoyed excellent field position all night long, and that may change right here.
You know, it's an interesting situation here, because if you're ever thinking about trying an onside kick, this is the time to do it, because even if it doesn't work and they recover the ball, it's still the worst it's going to be is about the 35 or 30-yard line, which is where it might be on a good return. If you boom it out of the end zone, it's only going to come back to the 20, so.
Well, we'll see if they roll the dice. 6:43 left, third quarter. There you see the score. Woodbury on top of Clayton, 12-8. That Clayton offense relatively silent in that first half, and in large part due to their own mistakes. They've cleaned it up, and they've come back into this football game. The crowd has come alive here at Houpt Stadium. And a low line drive picked up inside the 10-yard line. Looking for space and finally cut down inside the 20. So Woodbury deep in their own end, and we'll see if we see a lot more of Parker and Solomon on this drive.
And I think you will. I think what they're going to need to do is try to take away a little of the momentum that Clayton has, hang on to that football for a little bit of time, take some time off the clock, and get 2 or 3 first downs. Clayton on the opposite, if they make a stop right here, watch out.
First and 10. Hurd. Get a good look at Parker under center. He'll hand it off. Solomon with a lot of space driving forward. Solomon, pickup of about 7 or 8.
Yeah, good blocking at the point of attack and good north-south run. If viewers get a chance to watch that, Solomon's key to success that time, he kept his shoulders square when he hit the line of scrimmage, and that gives you the momentum and the power to go right through that line.
It's an important drive for Woodbury. After another team scores, you want to answer right back.
Absolutely. Just to take that emotional high that team has after scoring.
Second down and 2. Parker gets his offense set. And again, he'll hand off. Look at the space. Solomon into the secondary. Stiff arm and cut down at about the 43-yard line.
Boy, they listened very, very well to you, Rob, because they just came back with their best back, best play 2 times in a row and just said, you're not going to stop us. Watch this again. Solomon, great blocking at the point of attack. He hits the hole, shoulder square, puts that stiff arm in. Boy, that is classic running right there.
And Solomon is on a knee, and this could really change the entire complexion of this football game. Remember, Solomon is not only a force offensively, but defensively as well.
Yeah, you said that very, very well, that in Group 1 football, it can really, almost everybody plays 2 ways. Now, they're looking at his ankle, it looks like at the moment here. So the best thing would be if he can get up. Here we can see Clayton's schedule, as you can see. Started off with 3 straight wins over Gloucester City, Florence, and Gloucester Catholic. We had a tough one last week with Pennsville. After Woodbury, Shalleck, who's undefeated, Salem, who's good, and then Wildwood up on the 4th of November. And, of course, that fabulous Thanksgiving Day with the Panthers of Pittman.
First down and 10. We'll see what changes here for Woodbury with Solomon on the sidelines. Parker underneath center. He'll hand it off. And dancing, cutting through blockers. An effective run here for the Herd. Pickup of about 6. Trying to pick up the number on our runner there. Could not.
And again, with the blocking at the point of attack, if that's done well, you may be able to run against. I'm sure I couldn't at that situation, but that was very, very good effort.
Those days are long gone.
Yeah,
Fred.
me too. I said real long gone for me.
Second down. Parker hands off again, and we're going to have a holding penalty. This is coming back.
It's kind of interesting because coaches, Al Mellon's done a nice job. Now, he ran the same play 4 times in a row and said, we're going to run it till you stop it. Unfortunately, the only team that stopped it was Woodbury themselves.
That's a spot foul, so that's really going to back them up because that play happened in the backfield.
Yeah, that's correct. So it'll go, it looks like they're going to mark it around the 47-yard line, take them back 10 yards, we'll go to the 37, and that'll make it about 16 to go for a first down.
And we have a Clayton player down on the field. It looks like it may be a cramp, so if there's such a thing as a good injury, a cramp would be just that, although now getting down into the hamstring area.
Yeah, that would be the killer. That's the only thing. Cramps are fine, especially if they're down by the calf area. You're eventually going to get that back, get plenty of water, and stretch that thing out. But if it gets out in the hamstring, that's a toughie.
So Woodbury will try to regroup here as the Clipper did not get his numbers down on the field and maybe give Solomon some time to get that ankle wrapped.
And I think our viewers also should know, and maybe he can explain to it, but Rob's going to be missing next week because he's going to do something that very, very few people get to do and coach in a fabulous baseball tournament and clinic that's down there. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing.
Well, it's the Perfect Game National Championship. It's down in Jupiter, Florida. And basically every Division I college and every major league team is represented. In fact, major league teams send probably over a dozen scouts each team down there. There are a variety of games going down, and just about every top player in the country is represented down there. The team that I'll be coaching may have, in fact, 2 first-round draft picks on the team. So just very excited to do that. But thank you for that little acknowledgement. But, you know, it's just fun watching great talent. And we've seen some great talent here on display. You can't help but be excited about, you know, Andre Parker as a freshman.
And you're 100% correct. I mean, it's high school football, and it's a great situation. But I just got a message from the truck that said, since you're going down there and you said all the major league teams are there, that we expect you to come back with World Series tickets for us.
Okay, you got it.
Got it.
I'll make sure 2015 World Series tickets.
Yeah, that's I figured it would be that. The good
They say,
news.
and you know, since we're talking about that, they say that there are over, basically all the scouts, all the college coaches are assigned a golf cart, and literally 1,200 golf carts down there.
That's
Don't know
incredible.
where they come them, but that gives you a sense of just how many different major league scouts and and major Division I schools are down there. It's very exciting.
And for some of our people, that viewers are hitting in that, it's the biggest thing now that college coaches are doing when they have these combines, whether it be for football or they have showcases for basketball and baseball, and it's a chance for the college coaches to see a whole lot of athletes at one time.
That's exactly right. I believe it's 82 teams, the top 82 teams in the country, and they're essentially all-star teams made up of players from all over, pretty much all Division I talent. That was Kalo Brooks being taken off the field, and that's a big loss. Brooks is a big part of this Clayton team. So Solomon and Brooks, two big players for each team, a loss. It's become a battle of attrition here. 5:06 left, and now after that holding penalty, it's going to be a long second down for Woodbury.
Well, if you're Woodbury right here, what you want to get is positive yards to put yourself in a situation where you have a manageable third down.
Parker, play action, throws wide open, caught on his feet, angling towards the end zone, touchdown.
What a great call by the Woodbury staff. A receiver just bit the cornerback who was thinking it was going to be a run and just was wide open for the touchdown.
Dean Triplett with the touchdown, and that is a backbreaker.
Well, the Woodbury fans may remember that Triplett's brother was a star athlete for them last year. I guess the hardest thing about it, he was so wide open, is make sure you catch the ball.
64-yard touchdown completion. Parker to Triplett, and Woodbury extends their lead to 10. They will go for 2. And another timeout called here. The second called timeout.
We're going to get to see this again. It's a great job in here. Fake that run to the fullback. Triplett is wide open. Nobody near him. Into the end zone. Great throw, great catch, great play call by Butch Gale, Al Malin, and the crew there at Woodbury.
Devin Carr almost caught him from the opposite side of the field. That gives you some indication of how fast Devin Carr is, but obviously some blown coverage, literally all by himself, and a huge play by the Woodbury Thundering Herd.
Yeah, and sometimes the receiver will disguise that by just jogging off at the beginning and then taking off and hope that the corner thinks it's going to be a sweep that goes up and makes the tackle. But he was all alone. And you're right, at film session, the Clayton coaches will make sure they point out how Carr didn't quit on that play and ran all the way across the field.
First down, 2-point conversion here for Woodbury, and Parker sizing up the defense. Parker, quick drop, throws, angles towards the end zone, and that ball is caught. The 2-point conversion is good. A little fade there, and it's 20-8 now, Woodbury.
Yeah, really tough play to defend because the receiver is a lot taller, and you just take a step back and toss it up and go. You tell him go right for that back pylon because the worst it's going to be is incomplete. There it is, just a great throw, inside corner. Actually, the coverage was not bad by Clayton. His ball just got there a little bit later.
Well, we mentioned that it was an important drive for Woodbury. It worked out a lot better than they had anticipated. They come right back and answer the Clayton touchdown. It's 20-8, 4:50 left, and this has become a much more exciting football game.
Yeah, that's for sure. And now it almost makes this next drive for Clayton like a character drive. That you fought all night. You finally get a break. You finally get into the end zone, and then they come. Woodbury comes right back and scores, as they have to make sure they set up their offense again and do the things they were successful with.
Think about that drive by Woodbury, though. First of all, their worst field position of the day to start a drive inside their own 20-yard line. They still score. They lose, arguably, their biggest offensive weapon in Solomon, and they still score.
That's
Again,
impressive.
you talk about character drives. That's a character drive.
That is a character drive, and it's also a nice statement for your freshman quarterback.
The Herd to kick it away. And this time, no squib kick. Long line drive taken at the 20. And Carr cut down at about the 44. I think they would have been better served staying with the squib kick.
Well, I think sometimes your adrenaline gets rolling and you think you can do things that you haven't game planned for. But we'll have to see a big effort right here now. We'll watch to see what Clayton's offensive coordinator sets up to do now. They went to the running sweeps to the outside right last time, figuring they must have seen something that they could run against Woodbury. We'll see what they'll go right back to now.
First down and 10. Clayton.
Yeah, that's a penalty when you see the flag come down. You cannot have 12 players in the huddle. One of the Clayton players realized that he shouldn't be in there, and he came off the field. The referee saw it. You can only have 11 in the huddle. You're going to have less, but you can't have 12.
How do you explain this, Fred? I mean, as a football coach, is this lack of planning? Is this lack of focus? Is this lack of discipline?
I think you just hit it with the last one. I think it's lack of discipline. The situation that comes down on this is you don't plan to make this number of penalties. It's just that people are losing their focus or drive, but it's all down to discipline.
Washington hands off to Carr. Carr again going outside the tackles, and he's cut down after a pickup of about 5. But one of the key changes we've seen here, Fred, is that they're now trying to get the ball outside the tackles.
Exactly, and I think they're realizing they're not going to run inside. And Carr has really, really impressed me in the last few drives. He has some tremendous bursts of speed.
We mentioned before that Woodbury typically prided themselves on their speed. This year, it's their size, so it makes sense that you're going to have more success trying to exploit the matchup of speed versus size.
And you don't want to think about this yet, but there's 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Time starts to become a factor.
And the ball is almost fumbled. I'll tell you, Clayton very, very fortunate to get away with that one. A little miscommunication as Washington held on to the ball a little bit longer than the running back Pessoa had thought he would.
Yeah, they're lucky to get the ball back. A blitz called on the defense there by Woodbury, and their linebackers were just coming, anticipating a run.
Third down and 14. 3:30 left. There you see Carr in the backfield with Washington. Full house backfield again. Washington play action pass. A lot of time now flushed out of the pocket. Washington throws underneath, and that falls incomplete.
Plenty of times. We used to call it in the old days, that's a coverage sack, that your defenders down there have really done a nice job. A little too early to gamble, so I think Clayton's going to have to punt the football away. But very soon you'll see this become 4-down offense because you're down 2 scores.
4th down and 14, 3:14 left. Still a lot of football to play. Again, all it takes is a turnover and a touchdown, and the outcome is a little different. So Clayton will punt it away. We haven't seen too many punts tonight. And Woodbury waiting to receive this low punt, a spiral, and that will roll to about the 20-yard line. So Woodbury will start deep in their own end once again. That did not prevent them from scoring last time.
That's true, and you said it right on the money. That was like a forward pass down the line of scrimmage, but it sure worked out well.
It sure did.
I think this is a situation now. You got the ball down around the 20-yard line. You got to tell your defense, if you're Clayton, we need to stop right here. If we get that, we can get decent field position. We can get maybe a score before the end of the third quarter, and then we're going to have a thrower in the fourth quarter.
First down and 10. Parker under center, and another penalty, and it looks like it's going to go against Clayton. Now this illegal, this is going against Woodbury.
Yeah, it's going to be the illegal participation, which means 12 men in the huddle, but it was kind of interesting because it was also a Clayton player running off the field.
Yep.
So
first and 15 now, Hurt. It looks like Solomon is back in this football game there. Solomon with the football. And he's cut down after a short gain.
And we saw a first little bit of change. Clayton took their wide receiver, their cornerbacks, and backed them up a little
Another
bit.
penalty flag. This came in late. This may be a taunting or something of that effect.
Well, let's see what it's going to be. Looks like Clayton's walking backward, forward, I guess we could say. So it looks like it's going to go against Woodbury. It's going to be a dead ball, delay of game. So obviously the ball was not given to the official at the end or thrown someplace away. So it'll be a delay of game on a dead ball against Woodbury.
No. 7 penalties now against Woodbury. It's not been pretty tonight. Parker out of the shotgun, low snap. Parker keeps. Parker.
Well, that was interesting because that was almost disaster. The ball went down on the ground. Parker picked it up and had the wherewithal to gain positive yardage on it.
3rd down now, about 15.
So if you're Woodbury, you just want to get enough positive yards so that you have a good position for your punter to punt. Or if you're Clayton, boy, this is a great chance to blitz and stick them.
Parker again working out of the shotgun. Low snap, Parker looking to throw, throws it up for grabs and knocked down, defended well. A case where he's just going to allow Triplett to kind of jump underneath it, but solid defense played by Clayton will result in a punt. That was Gibson, the man on your screen.
And they double covered Triplett. They had one man short and one man deep to make sure he wouldn't get a chance to burn him again. Should be great field position coming up for the Clippers.
Well, when you have someone the size of Triplett, it's certainly worth the risk. 6'4", 220 pounds, and this ball is going deep in their own end. Is it a safety or a touchdown? Touchdown.
Everybody, Clippers for a touchdown.
Boy, there's a game changer. The second time tonight that Clayton has been able to block a punt.
Well, obviously that's something Clayton discussed. The punter of Woodbury has taken his time getting rid of it, and that resulted in a block in the first half, and now a touchdown. And we have a whole different ball game.
Yeah, now it's interesting to see what happens here on the extra point. I don't know whether Clayton has a kicker or not, but the situation calls for a 1-point conversion because that would mean that all you need is a touchdown to take the lead. We'll see what they do.
.149 left. So Clayton, not confident with the kicking game, will go for 2 here. Washington pitches, angles, 2-point conversion is good.
Boy, just a nice little toss sweep to the left-hand side, and that could have scored from anywhere. Oh, just a great job of blocking. The kicker went right in towards the defender coming in. Just a great block and a great recover. Watch his extra point, though. Watch the blocking out in front. Runner smells the end zone. 2016.
Wow, this is gut check time for Woodbury.
Yeah, when you said before about answering the drive, you hit it right on the money because now Clayton scored without even having to worry about their offense on the field. Here it is again. Watch that block. Just a great job. Now watch the ball right near. Boy, that was close.
Very close.
That was really close.
So big kickoff here for Clayton. Again, we have seen that Clayton has struggled in the kicking game, and Donovan Allen will kick it away here. And Woodbury has started with relatively good field position, and again, it was a penalty that really did in Woodbury. Not coincidentally, we've seen that all night. And here's some trouble. They'll fall on the football, will Woodbury, at the 25-yard line.
And a very good job there by the Woodbury receiving team back then. When that ball's bouncing around like that, dive on the football. Don't try to pick it up and run down the field. You'll start your drive at the 25-yard line, and you'll be fine.
Minute 46. No time went off the clock there.
And that was a big key. We were thinking about maybe Clayton could get the ball, go back and drive in for a touchdown before it. There's still time left in the third quarter, and they got their score.
To 16. Parker and the Herd will start on offense at their own 25. Solomon in the backfield. The handoff, it's Solomon, and he is cut down immediately.
Yeah, that was a great job there by Nasir Moore, who beat the blocker at the point of attack and just leveled his shoulders right on the ball carrier. Great job, Nasir Moore.
Second down. We'll call it 12. Fumble. Ball is loose. It's Clayton football. And the wheels have officially fallen off here for Woodbury.
Yeah, two things that you didn't want to have happen. A blocked punt and now a fumble on the snap exchange. And Clayton now has great field position for a chance to take the lead.
Well, Al Malin talked about they have made just a series of mistakes, and here's another one. It looked like Parker maybe just pulled out a little early.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he did. And boy, the Clayton player there, number 27, Ben Harris just put two hands around that ball and wasn't going to give it up. But I think you're right. He pulled out too quick. Obviously, they were going to do some type of a passing play, and he wanted to get back to that 7-yard depth before he had time.
You can see the Clayton player in a lot of pain here.
Something that none of us like to see, and we can only hope for the best in this situation. Now it's interesting, Rob, when you're thinking as an offensive coordinator, when you get the ball back so quickly like this, the best play for you to run is a pass play, because the defense isn't ready to play, and you just tell your receiver, this is what we're going to run. Now, that may be negated because of the injury. I always thought that was a great play to run after a turnover like that.
Game of the week. Next week, West Deptford at Haddonfield, two teams that have really become arch rivals. There are their air dates, October 25th through the 27th, noon and 8 p.m., and again, two fine teams. Interesting coaching matchup. You know, Frank Delano started out, and really Clyde Folsom kind of took him under his wing, and a couple of years ago they had a falling out, and it's just added to the rivalry.
It's amazing. It's kind of like any great rival you can have, that they love to play each other, but they also hate to lose to each other. And for me working the game next week, I'm going to go park my car up in the Haddonfield parking lot on Tuesday, because that's probably the only spot I'm going to get to go there.
Do they allow you in Haddonfield?
No, I don't think so. I come from that town down the road. I know, that's right. I'll tell you, Frankie's just done a great job there. The thing I really like that Frank's done, he's built a nice staff around him.
Yep.
And the ultimate perfectionist and the person who just leaves no stone untouched is Coach Folsom. One thing's for sure, he'll have them ready and they'll play their best football game
Well,
there.
both of those coaches took over programs that really were not much to speak of, and they've built them into powerhouses. And there's no better indication of whether or not you have a solid coach as to what you've inherited. They inherited little or nothing, and they've created something
I
big.
got to spend the first year with Coach Folsom when he went to West Deptford, and it was unbelievable the job that he did with what was there before he got there.
First down and 10, Woodbury. Washington hands to Carr. Carr And Carr cut down in the backfield.
Again, great job by the defensive end and outside linebacker from Woodbury to string that play up, allow the free safety in the corner to come up for run support.
We are in the press box here, Fred, and we are literally right next to the crowd, and the crowd has really come alive now.
I'm telling you, it's really neat to hear. We are definitely right on top of the Clayton crowd, and they are really into this game.
They are either excited about Clayton's comeback or they heard that Fred Swartz is doing the football game.
No, I don't think it's the second thing, but because when I played, I probably wasn't Clayton's most favorite player. So at that particular time, but it's nice to be back on the field here, and it's nice to be an exciting high school football game.
Well, again, another penalty here, and Clayton continues to shoot themselves in the foot. Ball spotted at the 35-yard line. Washington, hands off, a little misdirection play, still on his feet, rumbling, and cut down after a nice pickup. And back to the original line of scrimmage.
A great call. Again, it was a little counter reverse play, and you hit it right on the money. It was like that Chris Berman used to say, it was rumbling, bumbling, stumbling as he went down. Watch as he comes through. Good cut right off the bat. Picks up his arms, just lowers his shoulder and keeps driving. Great run.
Marvin Tucker continues to talk to his offense here, and the question is, do they have to get a playoff before the end of the third quarter?
And I think the answer is no, and we're going to go to fourth quarter football.
We head to break on your Atlantic City Electric Game of the Week. It's a good one. Woodbury on top of Clayton, 20-16. Stick around, fourth quarter action on your way. It's a long game.
It is for one that's predominantly penalties.
Go, go, go.
Welcome back. Opening play of the quarter results in a long run just inside the 5-yard line, close to the end zone.
Yeah, it was really, really close to whether he scored. A very, very good play call again by the Clippers right down to the end zone line. If we get a chance to see again a little bit of misdirection set up and then pure speed getting into the end zone or getting just short of it.
First down and goal, and the Clippers can take their first lead of the evening right here. Namir Washington will run the play in. And Clayton having some confusion here, and that should be a motion penalty.
It'll actually end up working out pretty good for Woodbury because there'll be a loss of probably 3 or 4 yards on the play and a loss of down. Corey Carr now has 104 yards in the second half on 7 carries.
I'm surprised we did not see a penalty there. There was movement in the backfield. Now, Woodbury likely would have declined the penalty, but nonetheless, that probably was the easiest call of the night. It was not called.
And it's right in front of the referee.
Second and goal at the 5. Washington, pitch, Carr, beats one man, Carr, drives forward, Carr.
Looks like it's
shy of the end zone.
Just shy of the end zone. And that was great effort by Carr because that play was doomed for a loss again. And he made a great cut, accelerated those legs. 3rd and 1 from the 1.
Here's the play. You see Carr.
Watch his acceleration. Great cut right there on the on his left foot. You tell a running back on that time when you make your cut off of your outside foot and lead with that inside foot. And that's exactly what Carr did.
3rd down and goal. At about the 1-yard line. Full house backfield again for Washington. They'll go forward. Washington, no sign yet. Washington, they'll clear the pile. Touchdown.
Well, Rob, that's the best play to run on that situation because your back is going forward and not backwards, and he's not behind the line of scrimmage. He's right out the line of scrimmage. Enough to get in the end zone. Who would have thunked it? Clayton now up in front, 22-20.
Well, again, another player shaken up on the field. It looks like Clayton's Zach Evans, and he looks like he's favoring one of those knees.
And he's one of their outstanding people up front.
Well, Clayton takes their first lead. They're on top 22-20. And Evans now back to his feet.
And that's a good sign to see for him. And now the pressure goes right back on the hands of Woodbury. Woodbury now has to go back to the things that made him successful in the beginning, and you were really going to find an awful lot about Andre Parker right now because now it's a crucial situation drive for him.
The referees are telling Clayton to hustle out on the field. Fred, this has been an extraordinarily long football game, as we talked about during the break. Despite the fact that both of these offenses like to run the ball, there's been so many penalties. This game has taken an extraordinarily long period of time. Pitch. And no good.
Boy, just short. He's trying to push his blocker ahead, but he'll come up a yard short. 22-20, but I don't think a field goal is going to decide this game.
Well, there you see the quick snap and the touchdown by Washington. Well, Clayton has shown the propensity for big plays via the run outside the tackles. That was something they really didn't make much attempt to do in the first half. They've had their success there, and of course, the other area where they've had success is putting pressure on the punter. 2 blocked punts tonight for the Clippers.
And that's exactly right, because that play happened without any time coming off the clock. But now the interesting situation goes on Woodbury. Both of these teams are in contention to be in the Group 1 sectional championships. Now you're going to find out about what Woodbury can do when they need big plays and need a score.
This is an opportunity for the Woodbury coaching staff to kind of remind them, listen, all we need is one drive, and we're ahead in this football game. Obviously, they're somewhat demoralized after the latest chain of events, but this is still a football game, and you can't let emotions get the best of you.
And that's very well placed, put. I think the answer is I'd put my hands in either Solomon right off the bat, but I might let Parker freelance a little bit because I think he can make the big play.
So Allen to kick it away. Allen, line drive, squib, picked up. And Woodbury, with a brief return, will take possession inside their own 30-yard line.
And that's a scary play because the ball was heading towards the out-of-bounds line, which would have given the ball on the 35. Maybe with a little bit of dew on the ground or whatever else, it stopped. And that ball was not going to go out of bounds.
Ball spotted at the 26. 10-10 remaining. Still a lot of football to be played. This game now in its second hour plus, so this could be the length of an NFL game.
I was going to say, or a triple overtime game.
Parker under center. Handoff. Solomon. Solomon on his feet into the secondary. Towards midfield. Solomon still on his feet. Cut down at about the 44-yard line.
Boy, kudos to Woodbury. Best back, best play. Go straight forward. Solomon responding, and I thought we had another flag, but it was just the kicking tee being thrown off the field.
A 30-yard gain for Solomon. He's been impressive.
He sure has, and you know, in the opening game of the season against Paulsbury, he rushed for 151 yards. Not many people do that against Paulsbury in a career.
And again, another player down for Clayton. And that is Kalo Brooks. Of course, he was down earlier in the game as well. He came back, and he is in a tremendous amount of pain.
And it's an interesting situation because as your legs get tired, so sometimes you just cramp up. Maybe they should get out some pickle juice.
Yeah, that was the Buddy Ryan special,
yeah,
right?
It's pretty good.
Did you ever try that?
No.
I don't know that I'd want to drink pickle
I
juice.
think you're 100% right.
Are you a pickle guy? You like pickles?
I do like pickles, though. Do like pickles.
Well, those two gentlemen have had a lot of TV time tonight, and they're getting more of it.
And I'm sure they don't want it
We
either.
have eclipsed 20 penalties tonight.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know. That may be an unofficial GCEN record.
I think you're 100% correct because that sometimes you'll have one team come in a lot, but we've had a lot today by everybody.
It's gotten so bad the head referee has suffered a rotator cuff injury.
That's true for making all the flag calls and flipping his flag out in the air. And well,
it's so bad the flags are now green.
How about that? Because of the field? You mean you got
exactly. That's correct.
Rubbed off. That makes sense. Somebody said there was a whole bunch of stuff out there. There was flags on the 35-yard line, flags on the 40-yard line.
I've seen more flags.
And a flag on the flagpole.
Yes, I've seen more flags than the United Nations.
That's true, and there's a lot of them from front of that building.
Please tip your waiters and waitresses.
That's true.
Stick around for Foghat.
I told my wife after the game was done I'd be home to take her out for eating. I didn't realize it's going to be breakfast.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Fred, where were you all night? I was at a football game. Yeah, I've heard that before, Fred.
I'll say, really, there was 20 penalties. He said, yeah, who was she? I got you.
That's when Fred calls me and says, Rob, can I sleep on your couch?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You won't believe it. Either that or you park at Haddonfield.
I'm telling him I'm parking at Haddonfield and getting ready for the next game is right. That's 100%. And it's funny, for all this situation now, we still got 10 minutes to play.
Well, we'll step away. We'll work on some more material as we head to break. The Atlantic City Electric Game of the Week is a good one. It is Clayton on top, 22-20. Welcome back to Hab Field. And Caleb Brooks taking off there. You take a look at Parker. Parker will hand it off again. Solomon breaking free. Solomon deep in the secondary, cut down, and he is taken over. Devin Carr meets a truck.
And Rob, there's a saying in football that big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. And Mr. Solomon is showing that right now.
Inside of 10 minutes, clock continues to roll just like Solomon. First down and 10 for the Herd. Out of the shotgun. Parker will keep. Parker on his feet, and he will angle towards the sideline. Clock continues to move.
The way points are being scored in this second half, remember it was 6-0 at halftime. A touchdown here by Woodbury may not be all that's needed for them to score to win the game.
Interesting, because the referee had the clock moving there, and yet he was knocked out of bounds. Didn't look like it was a case of just merely forward progress. Maybe they're getting a little impatient.
No, I think they might have a late date.
You hear their wife. Second down, Parker hands it Solomon. Solomon, a nice little move, a burst into the secondary, and Solomon just shy of the end zone.
Boy, just great running. We talked about character. We talked about finding out about your football team. Al Mellon's got to be smiling right now because Woodbury has really
Watch that
responded.
little hesitation right there, and then boom, fires through.
Yeah, that's for sure. And that's all part of it's like a counter option when you take the he steps back, he reads, and the fullback goes the opposite direction. Great run there by Solomon.
Now, a lot of times you just assume that this is going to be followed up with a touchdown, but there's a good chance we're going to see a penalty.
That's true. It's happened on almost every drive.
Parker with Solomon. Stacked up at the line, and the ball's loose. The ball is loose.
Now the question is, and they're going to call him down. No. How about this? They're going to call Clayton down. The fumble was made, and the ball is going to be recovered by Clayton, and he was down on the ground when he recovered the ball. Let's watch it. Quarterback keeps the ball.
It almost looked like Solomon tried to take it away from his quarterback.
Yeah, and that's absolutely the right call because that ball was loose and recovered by Clayton. We were just about to say that Solomon has run for 135 yards now on the game, but that was just not what you wanted to do. Wow. Here it is again. Watch. Yes, it does look like he's trying to take the ball away from him. You are correct, and the ball comes loose. And, of course, Al Mail is probably saying that forward progress had already been stopped, but that's a fumble, my friends.
First down and 10 at about the 4. Washington again with the full house backfield. And we may have another penalty.
Well, it's going to probably be a procedure penalty against Clayton. I guess the good thing is it's only a 2-yard penalty.
The referee may be the most tired man when he goes home tonight.
That's who we're going to interview at the end of the game.
Yeah, I'm just going to try to wake him up. First down and 12. Handoff inside, and that's close to a safety. That, of course, would tie the football game and would get just what you hope for, overtime.
Oh, please. I said before that at 22-20 it was going to be hard to get a tie game out of it. It almost happened.
It's been a crazy game, Fred.
It has been a crazy game, and the interesting situation is it hasn't been by a lack of desire or effort. It's just been mistakes.
Well, some of the worst played games are the most entertaining.
I agree because nobody's going to pull away from anybody.
Handoff again, and ball's loose. The ball is loose. Who has the football? It's a touchdown. Touchdown, Woodbury.
Wow. How about that? For the minute, I thought it was going to be a safety. Then all of a sudden, you see the ball down on the ground. There's a scramble. Woodbury takes the lead.
Wow, what an unbelievable set of downs there, from the initial fumble by Woodbury to almost a safety to another fumble by Clayton that Woodbury falls on top of to score a touchdown.
So what are we saying? Anything can happen. We got 7 minutes to go. I'm sure the final score is not on the board.
Well, Woodbury's going to try to make you prescient right here and come away with a 2-point conversion. Parker, quick pass, Parker, wide open, falls incomplete.
So 26-22, 7 minutes left to go in the game. Here we get to see the fumble right here. It's deep in the end zone for the handoff. I don't know whether he was going to make it back to the goal line, and he's trying to extend the ball out to get to past the goal line. The ball gets loose. Woodbury jumps on it. Touchdown, Hurd.
Wow.
So that was interesting because I think it could have easily been a safety, and he's trying to reach as far out as he can so to make sure it does not become a safety, and it became a touchdown for Woodbury.
He didn't want overtime either.
That's probably right. Well, here we go again. Woodbury responds. Now it's Clayton's turn. And the one nice thing is when you have speed in your arsenal, you're only a play away from taking the lead. That's also 42 points have been scored in the second half.
Wow. Woodbury to kick it away. keep your eyes on Carr. He has been electric. They angle it. It's touched by Clayton. Now in trouble. Still on his feet. Finds more trouble. And a penalty. That may be a hold. It could be a face mask. But we do know one thing. It's another penalty.
It's another penalty. And the receiver did probably the returner did a cardinal thing that you don't do. When you get the ball on the far sideline, you never try to take it back across the field because you're only going east and west.
It looks like it's going to be a face mask.
So they'll get 15 yards back. That'll be one situation that'll help. But you always take the ball and go straight ahead because only bad things happen when you take it across the field. And that's what it is. That's what it's very well put. Anything can happen. Stay tuned, guys, because everything is going to probably happen in this last 7 minutes.
Well, here you see the quarterback, Washington, and Demir Washington has seen quite a bit happen, and the man standing behind him has made a lot happen in Devin Carr. Washington hands to Carr. Carr looks for a seam and finds nothing.
And again, the big front four, Woodbury, really making their presence of just nothing but sheer size to stop any running lane. That's why Clayton has been far more effective when they tried to get outside that front four and get to the perimeter.
Now, at midnight, do you turn into a pumpkin?
I am a pumpkin. That's exactly right.
Second down and 11. Again, a full house backfield. Washington. Pressure by Woodbury. Cuts it back. Carr. A lot of room for Carr. Angles towards the sideline. Carr has one man to beat. It's a foot race. Carr on his way to the end zone. And a penalty flag on the field. Another penalty flag.
And they are going to call a clip on the final block that sent Carr all the way into the end zone. But what a burst of speed. But you can see the back judge as he was running down the field reach into his pocket and pull out the flag. So that's coming back 15 yards from the spot. It'll be first down Clayton. And maybe better for Clayton because Woodbury would have got the ball right back.
Now, I'm wondering whether the player was out of bounds and came back in and made the block, if that's what the call is.
That's a very interesting. I see them talking right over the situation now. Let's see what they got. It'll be very, very interesting call. I got a feeling he's calling the clip. They're saying they're calling the touchdown good, and they're calling a personal foul against Woodbury. So possibly what you said is right, or the block was okay and he said something wrong. Let's take a look at it again. Carr just makes this play happen. And as soon as he cuts back to the corner now, watching this cell right now, as they come down the sidelines, watch the block. Sure looked good to me, but I don't know what the official was seeing at that particular time. The whole key is you have to have your body in front of the shoulder at that time, and it looked like it was good.
71-yard touchdown run. Again, the penalty was against Woodbury, and the flag came out during the block, so that's even more confusing.
Yeah, I agree with that. Unless something was said that we didn't see, or it was kicked, or because the flag definitely was released as Carr was running down the field, which made it all the indications look like they were going to call a clip on Clayton.
28-26, two-point conversion would extend the lead to 2.
Now, we'll have a meeting of all the officials. Let's see what he's going to decide right now.
And boy, I tell you, this is not a shining moment for the referees.
No, and I wonder if this play is coming back and they're going to call a clip. Because it sure looks like it's coming back 15 yards from where the flag was thrown.
I have no idea what's going on right now.
And I don't think anybody does. I think the only thing I can think of right now, the official made a mistake on what he said, and it was actually a clip that was been called against Clayton, that which would nullify the touchdown, put it back 15 yards from where he called the clip. We'll see if we get some kind of an explanation here from the referee.
Well, looking at that replay, that was not a clip.
I agree, and that's unfortunate. There is no booth review.
Well, even in the NFL, there's no booth review for
penalties. That's
penalty.
True. Yeah, that's true.
But again, I was perplexed because how could you have a personal foul when your guy got laid out?
Yeah, it's great.
And now all of a sudden they've changed it entirely. Obviously, it takes a touchdown off the board. Both coaches are a little bit confused, and they're probably only half as confused as we are. At least they're getting an explanation.
Now Malin's probably saying, good job, guys. At least you got it right in his mind. And Coach Tucker's got to be totally mystified.
And again, we have no clarification of the call.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, it's a 1st and 10, so the only thing we can think of is they called a clip against Clayton.
Wow.
That fits
Just when you thought we've seen it all tonight.
Hang in there, there's more to come.
1st and 10 at the 35. Washington hands it off. And Washington and this Clippers offense with Carr are always so dangerous. That continues, a big 1st down.
Well, I'm very, very pleased for Clayton at that time, as they didn't let the frustration come into that and ran a nice little reverse at that time. It's for a 1st down. We are going to have some conclusion right here.
Referees called timeout on the field. Not sure why.
Well, I hope it wasn't for a measurement, because the chains have already been moved.
Exactly. Again, it's just not a fun night. The ball could have been for a measurement. I mean, that was a 15-yard gain.
Well, it looks like we might have a player down.
And the referees are still talking about things.
You know, it's funny. With time being such a interesting factor, maybe the longer it takes Clayton to score is better for them.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's not better for you, Fred, because your
I'm
wife,
done. I know exactly what it is. All my luggage is out in the front yard. So
you
I'm
and the
in good
dog
shape.
in the backyard.
Me and the dog. That's exactly right. Yep, that's it. I hope the doghouse is heated.
Well, now you know. If it isn't, to get on that this weekend.
You got that right.
Home Depot run.
That's exactly what it'll be.
Okay, there's a timeout here. I don't know who called the timeout.
We have a player down on about the 25-yard line. Looks like a Clayton player.
Got it.
And that might be Corey Carr.
Looks like he's holding his hamstring. That's Gibson.
No, it's Gibson. Yes, it is.
Gibson has been a force on both sides of the football, and he's trying to work through it.
Well, let's see what we're going to see next, Rob. We've had just about everything, except a field goal, and I don't think we're going to see that tonight.
Or an extra point.
That could be true.
I've done high school football for 20+ years, Fred. This may be the craziest one.
I think you're probably right.
Pitch, Carr. Carr angles it outside. Carr, another penalty flag.
And where the flag is can only mean one thing.
Fred, with all due respect, how is it possible that these kids are still engaging in fouls? I mean, after the first 20, don't you learn your lesson?
You would think, and sometimes you're just so hyped up to get into the end zone. that you reach in and grab.
I'm frustrated for Coach Tucker.
Yeah, me too. And I'll tell you the other thing that's interesting is you could call a penalty on almost every play.
Well, they have.
And I think it's been pretty close to that. I mean, holding happens probably on every play in the offense, but well, that's a tough one. It's two bad breaks right off the bat for Clayton in this drive. And now we're down under 6 minutes, and the clock is running.
Okay, reset here. First down, 15, ball at the 25. I formation. No, it's more confusion. And Clayton calls timeout.
And probably a good move because the back judge had started his 5-second countdown. They would have never gotten that play off.
And
but
if it didn't, what would have happened?
Yeah, 5 yards back.
It would have been a
legal procedure, delay
penalty.
Game, another penalty. Yeah, I got what you're saying. Now, the only thing you're thinking about is you used a timeout, and that may be something you need at the end of the game, but that probably doesn't matter because there'll probably be a penalty that would stop the clock, so we'd be all right.
Well, we got 5:26 left. What's the over-under on penalties for the rest of the game?
5.
5? I'm tempted here. That's only 1 a minute. I mean, that's pretty conservative.
Needless to say, somebody's going to win tonight, but I think both coaches are going to go away a little bit frustrated.
And a day older.
And a day older, maybe more. That's true.
I have to ask our director, Stan Ritter, our producer, do we have enough digital tape for this game?
Yeah, they'll cut out the beginning.
There was no answer. They're asleep in the truck, Fred.
Okay, that's.
Okay, they could go 24 hours.
We might be doing that.
Sponsored by 7-Eleven. 26-22, 5:26 left. First down and 15. Washington pitches. Carr strings it outside. Corey Carr trips.
Actually,
kind of faked himself out there.
Yeah, I think he actually did a good job there. He saw he wasn't going to get anywhere. Just get down on the ball, live to fight another play, and it was positive yardage. It's definitely 4-down offense.
Gain of 5, second down and 10. Washington talking things over with Donovan Allen. We've seen so many players on both teams, particularly Clayton, walk off the field injured and now back in the football game. Gibson is still on the sideline for Clayton. Second down and 10. Washington directing traffic out of the shotgun. Washington pitches. And now it's Carr cutting back against the grain. Carr. And another penalty flag.
And even though there was a first down, this one's going to come back, and we're going to have that call for holding again.
Face mask. Woodbury.
Oh, my heavens. So they'll refuse that penalty. It's going to be first and goal for Clayton.
Well, that'll be tacked on at the end of the play. If I'm not mistaken.
That's true.
I got the holy.
4:31 left, and Woodbury up against it. They have had no answer for Clayton as they work outside the tackles.
That's for sure, and it's now 1, so that over and under you might be taken.
Personal foul, face mask against Woodbury.
And you're right, add it on to the end of the play. That's going to put it right down near the goal line.
So half the distance takes him to about the 3. First down and goal at the 3-yard line, 4:31 left. Clayton looking to recapture the lead.
Well, the one thing you want to tell your back in this situation, put both hands on that football. Do not fumble down here.
Again, full house backfield for Washington under center. Washington and another penalty. So you said the number was 5. We're at 2.
We made do that in the first, and then 1 minute
We did
here.
2 in the last minute, Fred.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now again, you're down at the 3-yard line. Now you're back at the 8.
I don't know, our stat man, Zach Bates, if he's available. We have to be close to 30 penalties now for the two teams.